with liberty and justice for all. All right, would you like to call roll tonight?
Thank you, Chair. Just give me 1 second while I get my roll call here taken care of. Okay. So Chair Jody Dupree. Here. Vice Chair Derek Applewhite. Here. Board Member Ronald Williams. I see Board Member Daniel Gleason coming up. Thank you, sir. Board Member Mike Saraski is excused, and Board Member Tom McCurney is in his presence. Sorry. Board Member Anita Bland.
Here.
Board Member Jason Carter. Here. Board Member Deborah Hooker. Here. Board Member Mark Hall.
Here.
And Board Member Tom McCurney. Here. So we do have a quorum, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Item 2 is adjustment of the agenda. Doesn't look like there's any adjustments at this time.
There are no adjustments at this time, and I did forget to call Board Member Ronald Williams.
You called Ronald.
I did? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Brain is going in multiple places. Sorry, sir.
All right, so no adjustment to the agenda?
No adjustments to the agenda.
All right, item 3 is approval of minutes, and we don't have any minutes from the prior meeting. Probably still typing them up.
Correct, yes. Yes, thank you.
So nothing to approve at this time on that. So we will move to item 4 on the agenda. It's 2025-15 CZ Gateway Drive Conditional Rezoning Type 1, and Robert Tate will be presenting.
Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Board. I believe we have some technical difficulties right now, so if you can give us a couple minutes to get the presentation up. Okay.
We're going to take about a 10-minute recess while they work on technical difficulties. All right, that was a quick 10-minute recess. All right, now we will start with item 4 of the agenda.
Good evening again, Chair, Planning Board. Robert Tate, Senior Planner with the Planning Department. Tonight before you, I have a Type 1 conditional rezoning for project number 2025-15-CZ. This is a request to go from office institutional to the conditional commercial zoning district. The subject site is approximately 1 3/4 acres in size and is situated along the northerly side of Gateway Drive near the intersection of 2 Court and Medical Park Place. Shown in this aerial image, you can see the subject site is currently vacant and undeveloped. And also on this image, you can see where the posted notice was placed for this meeting on the site. So really quickly, before I get into the request, I want to take a brief moment to discuss what the type 1 conditional rezoning is. From my understanding, this may be the first type 1 conditional rezoning you all have considered. So I just want to kind of walk you through what a type 1 request looks like. So unlike what the traditional type 3 that you commonly see, this does not include a concept plan. It is strictly to establish limited uses in the zoning district. So we're just going to be talking about uses tonight, rather than standards or what the concept plan would look like for the property. So like I mentioned, this is a type 1, and like all conditional rezonings, it comes with applicant-sponsored conditions. This also would allow you to make requests for them to amend their conditions however you see fit as well. So taking a look at the zoning map, the top is the current zoning. Surrounding zoning is OFI and CRM. The request is shown at the bottom of CZC. You may notice just a sprinkle of CRM around the site. Over the past 10 years or more, sites to the west of the site have incrementally been rezoned to commercial. And that's essentially what this request is, to allow some commercial uses on the site. So that CZC on the proposed map is shown in that orange color. After staff review, it was identified that the request is consistent with the future land use map designation of employment center because the employment center designation encourages limited non-residential uses, and that's what this request is doing. It would limit a list of allowable uses that would otherwise be permitted in the zoning district. So this makes it consistent with the future land use map and also consistent with the existing uses that surround the subject site. So here are a list of the kind of standard and typical conditions of approval you'll see with all conditional rezonings in the town. So I won't go too much into detail about those. Here, condition number 5 of 6 just outlines the prohibited principal uses. So these are a list of uses that would not be allowed in this zoning district. I know this image right here may be a little hard to discern, but just to highlight a few for you, you can also look in your agenda packet for the comprehensive list for your own viewing. But a couple of prohibited principal uses are farm equipment sales and services, tobacco, CBD vapor shop, wholesale indoor and outdoor, and all schools types. And the last would be all remaining residential uses that would be allowed in the district. They are prohibited. Like the 5th condition, condition number 6 does essentially the same thing, but this is for secondary uses. So these are a list of secondary uses prohibited in this zoning district. All other uses that are not shown in both this condition and the previous would be allowed under the table in the UDO. So should this rezoning be approved, recommended for approval tonight, the conditions of approval will be tied to the land and subject in accordance with the state statute. Tonight, the staff is recommending approval because the request is consistent with the 2045 Comprehensive Growth Plan. And like always, here's a list of motions for you all to consider. Staff highlighted the first as we are recommending approval. And that concludes my presentation. I know the applicant is here. If you have any questions, I'm also available for any questions you may have.
Have any questions of staff?
I've got one quick question. The applicant, when they submitted their application that you provided us, as far as review criteria is concerned, they responded, please see the attached document, rezoning application answers. I couldn't find that anywhere in the packet. Is that available to us? Is that?
I'm not too familiar right now, but we can take a look at that and try to get that available for you.
because I think one of the questions I had is I understand we're recommending limiting use. And I think the question then becomes what's left that could be put there.
Right.
And that's where I think I'm kind of missing what the possibilities are. I understand you've referenced back to the classification in the UDO. I just didn't go back and do that to see what is left after you redline all the things you're asking about. So that's kind of, can you speak to that at all?
Sure, I can follow with you on that, not at this moment, but I can follow up in a little while.
We're voting tonight, though.
Right, I can take a look at the table right quick and provide that for you.
That would be great.
If you have any other questions in that meantime, I can look for that.
Any questions?
And if you could give some type of answer on this attached document as well.
Yes, sir.
That would be helpful in case they included some more information to support their application, you know.
Certainly.
So we're considering the rezoning the seed in the conditional rezoning type 1 when the property comes to be developed, and they're going to have to submit a site plan to the town, and any improvement to the property or road frontage or otherwise will be approved through the site plan process.
So a lot of that would be addressed at site plan, that's correct.
Right.
So tonight, just the zoning for the uses allowed.
Thank you.
Any other questions of staff?
Just to chime in, we do have the applicant answers. We can go over those for you all or print them even and hand them out. They were included in the original application submission.
What's your pleasure? Just want to hear them?
Can you maybe put them up? Or?
Yes.
Okay, on the screen right now, we're showing the responses to those questions.
Has everyone had a chance to glance through that? Any other questions of staff? All right.
No questions, but just a comment. This is invaluable to have in our packet in the future because this answers the questions I think a lot of us had. So,
Certainly, and I apologize for missing that.
yeah.
This time we'll hear from the applicant.
I'm sorry, what was
So
that?
can we hear from the applicant now?
Sure, certainly.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for coming late this evening. You have any questions for me, or should I?
Anybody have any questions for you? You have a comment or anything? you'd like to make?
No, basically, what we want to put here is, going back to the history, this medical plaza was zoned 20 years ago, and it's, probably everybody knows that. And then these few lots are remaining. The hospital moved somewhere else. So everything is surrounded by retail now. And that's what we put. We put small buildings, like 10,000 square foot, and then each with about 1,000, 2,000 spaces in each, so small business can come. But we don't want to limit ourselves to medical only. So it's just like a, staffing company wants an office, something like that. Audiologist, veterinary, small daycare, something like that. Small business, clean businesses. Yeah, that's all it is.
Anybody have any questions of the applicant? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, we will entertain a motion unless you have more comments or questions for anyone. I don't think there's anybody from the public here. Is any public tonight that would like to speak to this? Didn't think so. All right. We would like to make a motion. All right.
I'll make a motion to accept.
You need to read it, which one of these motions you're making and read it.
Motion one,
Yep.
recommended approval consistent with the 2045 Comprehensive Growth Plan.
Read the whole thing.
I make a motion to recommend approval of this conditional rezoning and conditions of approval based on consistency with the adopted 2045 Comprehensive Growth Plan, in that the subject site is designated on future land use map as an employment center. Policy LU 1.3, encourage non-residential land uses in areas consistent with the future land use map. Policy LU 1.4, encourage new businesses and non-residential development in employment centers designated on the future land use map. Strategy 1.4.3, allow for integration of compatible uses in employment centers, including commercial development as a supporting use. This action is reasonable and in the public interest, in that the comprehensive growth plan encourages non-residential uses in this area. Proposed conditions limit the allowable uses to ensure that future development remains consistent with the intent of the employment center designation, and the request is compatible with existing zoning and land uses in the area.
All right, we have a motion from Board Member McCurney. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second from Board Member Bland. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes. Okay. Item 5, new business. There seems to be no new business at this time. Is there anything added to that?
Chair, there's no new business at this time.
All right. Before we adjourn, did anyone have any questions? You had a question or something you were going to ask. I think this is the time for that.
Yeah, one question I had, just kind of in general, we've heard a couple of times now from people that were attending that they didn't receive notification on something. I think you guys are really thorough when you include in the packets the affected properties. My understanding is that by going out 300 feet, you're even exceeding what's required. So I guess my question is there any way for us to know, without having to spend, a lot of money on certified mail, this and that people are receiving these things that are being sent in the mail, as far as notification is concerned? For the record, I'm also very aware of the signs you're putting up with the QR codes on there. I think that's excellent. I'm just trying to address the fact we've had some people talk about not receiving notification, and I think it'd be in our interest, our best interest, to be able to say, this is what we've done and this is how we know these people are getting it, if possible.
That's a great question. It comes up quite a bit of, people get notified. So staff right now, what we do is a 300-foot property radius ownership. So if you're a property owner within 300 feet of that radius, you're going to get a letter from us. We do the posting of the property for the planning board meetings. And then we do the same thing for town council with the addition of a legal ad publication. In terms of verifying, to your point about is there certified mail, not certified mail, unfortunately, without actually doing the certified mail to the property owners, the only other way is through internal double checking, making sure that our letters are going out. What we are going to be rolling out soon is a new letter that has merged letters. So we're going to end up with a file that has all the property owners that we have sent the letters to. So what we'll be able to do is look through that doc file and go, okay, we can type in someone's address and we will be able to find, okay, yeah, you do have a letter and it was sent out and it was printed out on that date. I'm also entertaining the possibility of some internal affidavits that we can do for our own staff, for public, for mailing the letters, for getting the signs posted, for making sure that our town clerk has the legal ad. So that's to come, because I want to be able to answer to the board, yes, here's our documentation that does say that this property was noticed per our policy and the UDO.
That's your question.
Thank you. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions tonight, Derek?
Conrad, can I follow up? So if it's a proper, so for the address, does it go to the property that's been identified in that 300-foot radius, or does it go to the property owner's address and maybe a PO box? So for the sake of renters that may not be the actual owner of the property, are they going to be notified when this happens?
That's a great point as well. So we go off of the property owner that's listed in the Johnston County tax record. So if I'm renting a house and I don't own the property, I will not get that notice. That's where the posting of the property hopefully will catch my attention. Yeah, the proximity. So if I'm driving by the area, I can see that notice. But unfortunately, right now, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. I've had this question come up quite a bit throughout my career, and the tendency is to defer to the property owner.
All right, follow up.
Sorry, one more thing. Your public notice is a part of our packet. Appreciate that. It's always in here. When you send these out, if this is an exact copy of what's being sent out, you reference the PIN numbers. I think that's great to have that on there, but I think it would also help to actually have the physical address of the property so that the surrounding property owners know exactly, because I had trouble finding this property without seeing that address. I found it in the packet, but I would recommend that be included in the public notice information that goes out as the actual physical address, or as close as you can get to it with a cross street if it's not there yet.
In terms, that's a great suggestion. I think I'm hearing it correctly, where the address of the person's property who is receiving. So if I'm at, or the address of the property in question.
The property in question.
Okay, so the property in question. Okay,
The property that's being considered before the board in the public notice, that address for that property. In this case, it would be 2 parcels. Those addresses be included in the public notice. So if in my house, I'm receiving that letter, oh, okay, I know where this property is now, because if I'm just looking at pins and I'm the general public, I don't know where that is.
That's a great point too. The only challenge we might have, not to say that we won't take measures, and I think our new version does include a location description, because some properties don't have a building and they may not have a physical address with the location, but otherwise we'll have a location description. So it can say the northwest corner of the intersection of these 2 streets to help give, like to your point, the parcel ID may not, no one's going to really know.
Right.
They may not know, unless they go to the tax record map and investigate themselves. That is also, we include a map with our property owner letter too, to help give someone that geographic awareness of the property in question.
Okay. Thank you, Conrad. Any other questions, comments on that? All right, that's it for this evening. We're at item 6. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Board Member Bland with a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? None.